Dookie. Or poo-poo. Maybe dingleberries? What about excrement? Feces, scat, dung, waste, stool, shit. The list goes on. If you have seen any of the following movies, you would describe them using one, if not a few, of these words. But if you are a fan of 90s comedies and have decent taste in horror movies, we can all agree that these movies have one thing in common.
Guano! They have guano!
Yeah, you can bet your spooky asses I'm going to be spoiling these flicks. To keep you safe from them and to add a bit of humor and entertainment for you, let's do this. Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare.
Oi, freak! You gonna pay for that?
I already did a full review of Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, spoiling every bit about it, because it's just another not fun shit movie in the Pooniverse. I still can't believe they went with that name. But I gave Blood and Honey 2 a 4 out of 10, and this movie is only like 5% better than that. That's all these movies do. They're just a little bit better than the previous one, but they're all still shit. If you have seen the movie, I can practically guarantee that you will catch every scene this movie steals. There are scenes from It, The Dark Knight's Joker, Lucky Number 11, The Black Phone, Let the Right One In, I See You, Terrifier, and there may be even more. Peter Pan in this movie is a terrible villain. Our introduction to him as a villain in this movie is him getting his ass handed to him by a single mom who looks like she weighs 100 pounds soaking wet. The Peter Pan references make no sense and have no actual connection to the fairy tale. They just say random Peter Pan shit because of the movie's title. Our main characters only survive till the end of the movie because of plot armor. But the movie only had a budget of like $300K and it made 2.1 mil. Thanks, world, myself included. We are for sure going to get another one of these turd sandwiches pretty soon. And what boils my piss about these movies is that they could have been dumb fun. Like, this year we had Popeye the Slayer Man.
We're monsters!
I am what I am.
That was a so bad it's good movie. It knew that it had a retarded premise and embraced it and ran with it. But when the makers of the Pooniverse heard that it would be smarter to not take these movies seriously, they were all like,
But no!
we are gonna go the super serious route and make Winnie the Pooh into the next iconic horror villain.
I'm super cereal.
What a waste of a fun premise. Wolfman. Wolfman falls into the category of close but no cigar. I really love creature features, and the classics are done over and over way more than any other kind of monster, like a new monster movie. I haven't done the research, because I'm a lazy fuck, but I would not be surprised if there was at least one classic Universal monster movie that has come out every year for the past, I don't know, 40 years? Most of them are duds, and the reasons vary. They don't all share the same problems, but Wolfman's problem is that it's riddled with cliches. Line after line brings the vomit from last night's people skin dinner to the back of your throat. I didn't care about any of these characters. The design of the Wolfman was pretty feral and kinda new in a sense, but it in no way rivals a more wolf-looking Wolfman. The movie makes it seem like it's a virus instead of something supernatural, but there is a moment where the Wolfman gets his leg cut off and then he runs around like he wouldn't be bleeding to death. That's not possible unless you're supernatural, kinda like Michael Myers in every fucking Halloween movie.
Blasphemy!
Yeah, I know what Wes Craven has said about it, but no one is walking around after getting shot 6 times, never treating the wounds, and is totally fine for the rest of the night. Anyways, the only unique thing about the movie is that we get the vision and the hearing perspective of the Wolfman, and it looks pretty cool and interesting, but it's pretty surface level. The twist reveal at the end was so obvious, it's hard for me to even call it a twist. The main Wolfman was obviously our guy's dad. One final critique is that for most all of the movie, we are inside essentially a hunting cabin with no guns.
What? Well, come on!
Yeah, the writers here must have never met a hunter or anyone who owns guns before. They never have just one. That place would have at least had a couple. A pretty similar setup is Dog Soldiers. Just watch that. That's an actual fun werewolf movie about people trying to survive in a remote cabin in the woods. Presence.
You have a presence here. It's trying to figure you out. It's trying to connect to you.
Presence is yet another non-horror movie. It joins the ranks of Kronos, The Devil's Backbone, and The Orphanage. It's a horror movie in quotes. What it really is drama that has supernatural aspects to it. Presence is a movie from the perspective of a ghost. Sounds interesting until you realize the ghost is mute and doesn't have any powers like possession or like anything cool. The movie also gets resolved by sheer dumb fucking luck. The ghost haunts her best friend because she was murdered, and coincidentally, the guy that killed her starts banging her best friend. And the younger brother is asleep downstairs when the killer makes his move, and the ghost wakes the brother up and he tackles the guy out of a 2-story window that kills him. Keep in mind, this kid is established to be a very athletic and physically fit guy, and if he tackles someone out a window, there's a decent chance that the killer is gonna hit the ground first, and in some movies, the good guy would be totally fine. And also sometimes the villain.
Why won't you die?
It's a movie people should throw on if they want to get some action. You won't care what's going on during most of the movie, because most of the movie, there isn't much happening. Dark Match.
Who here's ready for some wrestling?
Dark Match is a horror movie in an underground WWE setting. Sounds pretty unique and interesting, and it would have been if this weren't so low budget.
Disappointed!
Yeah, a movie like this could be really fun if all of the characters were trained WWE wrestlers and were able to pull off some of the moves, but what this movie is a low-budget Saw with a wrestling twist. The main character is a wrestler that everyone loves to hate, and their entire team gets invited to some property in the middle of nowhere. Everything seems nice at first, but we soon find out that it's really a big cult, and they are going to use the wrestlers as sacrifices to summon a demon. The teams are split. The main guys play the villains who don't know what's going on, and the heroes are either possessed or know what's up and are totally okay with it. The first match is wind themed, and a guy gets his throat slit, and the actual slicing was eh. Match 2 is the gal fight, and since our main gal is in it, she wins, but she was playing the villain, so the host is pissed with the outcome. It's also a big reveal that the chick she killed was actually the cult leader's daughter.
Uh-oh, spaghetti-o.
We get more information, and it turns out the cult is a scam. What's really going down is that they're filming all of these as snuff films to sell them on the black market and make a sweet profit. Which seems backwards, or the reverse would be more obvious. Again, the idea is pretty interesting, but it's all about the execution. Match 3 is Earth, Match 4 is Fire, and it's at this moment we find out that all of the good character wrestlers are being blackmailed into killing the villain wrestlers. Match 5 is the Spirit Match, which is the rematch of the cult leader and the love interest of our main gal. Odd choice, you would think the final match would be about the main character and not one of the side characters, but the good guys win and our girl walks home with the belt. The movie ends with one of the cult leaders actually summoning a green Satan, and our girl squares up to fight him, and the movie ends. This movie has an interesting premise, but it's wasted because of the cheap budget, the uninspiring kills, the lack of serious wrestling moves, and a cliche ending. I don't know what the fuck our girl was gonna do to stop the green Satan, but I'm pretty sure she was gonna lose. Bystanders.
It's strong a little bit.
Not so sweet anymore, are you?
This is probably the cheapest movie on the list. The acting is cheap, the blood is cheap, the effects are cheap, the kills are lame as fuck. None of these characters look like the roles they're portraying. Their mannerisms and dialogue don't fit. Yeah, remember that line from Better Call Saul?
I've known good criminals and bad cops, bad priests, honorable thieves. You can be on
one side of the law or the other.
Some of that should apply here, but there has to be some kind of consistency here to make it seem believable. The serial killers aren't convincing. The villains are cliche. The victims are an afterthought. I wrote down here, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I highly doubt it, but we have 3 main victims. We follow one around the whole movie. We never see what happens to her friends. We don't know if they are dead or if they successfully ran away from the date grapers. Thanks, YouTube. Also, I'm sure no one here is going to fact check me on this, because the chances anyone else here has seen this movie is slim to none. Also, we know how many date grapers there are, and they forget to show us what happens to one of them, so yeah, it's just sloppy work. I wouldn't be surprised if this was literally every cast and crew member's first movie gig, because it really seems like it. The Calendar Killer.
This is the Walk Me Home helpline. We stay on the phone with people as they walk home by themselves. How can I help you?
Holy fuck, this is a weird one. So it's one of those serial killer thrillers that tries to have such a kind of twist, but it makes no sense. So the movie starts off with one of those self-help hotline guys talking to our main gal. At this point in the movie, we aren't sure who the main character is. Could be him, could be her. She is thinking of pressing the delete button on life because she is married to an asshole husband who likes going to fancy rich BDSM kind of parties.
What a buzzkill!
So the girl ends up not deleting herself, and we see plenty of scenes of the operator and the girl trying to make it to the next day, and she tries to go home, and our guy ends up killing a home invader, which seems like a big deal because we get a lot of scenes of a local serial killer on the loose, so we think it's him. And the movie climaxes with the girl coming home, and the guy we have been following is the local serial killer.
What? Oh, come on!
There is so much to say here, but I'll try to not take up too much time explaining an idea that doesn't make sense. So, he is a self-help line operator. The chances of him getting the call of the woman in the house that he broke into is staggering. If he didn't get her call, half of this movie would make even less sense. The idea of a serial killer clocking in some work hours while he's waiting for his next victim to get home to the house he just broke into is so stupid, it's actually kind of funny. Could you imagine a serial killer prepping for a night of killing being all like, well, I should pack my laptop to earn a few extra dollars? What? Also, it's not until like halfway through the movie we see the burglar, who turns out to be the babysitter, and our guy kills him. Where the hell was he the whole time this guy was watching the main chick's only child? There's also this scene where our guy, the killer, lays out some broken glass near the doorway to know when someone breaks in, but he then later walks around barefoot, and of course he steps on some glass.
Fucking idiot.
Also, after he kills the burglar, who is actually the babysitter, he gets a big cut on his leg, and then he bandages it up over the pants.
Huh?
Why wouldn't you take your pants off, then bandage up the wound? There's also another scene where someone gets locked inside a car. Not like in any clever way, like in Locked. It's just the door is locked and they have to bust out through the window.
Huh?
I really just don't know. But I guess there are a few things I do know, like this movie not being worth your time. The Dead Thing. I did a full review on The Dead Thing on my channel. Feel free to watch that if you want a complete breakdown of an inconsistent dating app ghost story. Our main character is a chick who just likes to get dicked down left and right, but has a great date with a ghost. She doesn't know he is a ghost at first, but eventually does, and eventually doesn't care. This ghost goes through phases of being able to move around, not move around, is able to match and chat with gals even though I'm pretty sure he has no cell phone. Whenever he sees his reflection, he sees the dead him and goes crazy. He is invisible and sometimes not, sometimes days repeat for him until they don't. There's nothing of value in this flick, even for chicks who like to read smut books about getting dicked down by Chad-type ghosts.
What a buzzkill!
Sorry ladies, you'll have to get your weird sex stories from somewhere else. Sumala. Sumala is an evil twin deal with the devil Indonesian story. So a man who is married to a hot chick but can't give him children is in a pickle, cause his greedy uncle wants all of his property and business and thinks he might as well give it to him cause he doesn't have any heirs. The husband tells his wife that if she doesn't bring him kids, that he'll take another wife. She goes and makes a deal with a voodoo she-bitch that says you will have 2 children, one of your husband and one of the devil, for a few years. She later gets preggers and starts giving birth. One of the babies turns out looking like a monster, so the dad takes a dagger and stabs it to death.
That escalated quickly.
And we actually see it. It was at this moment I thought the movie had some serious balls, but it's on this list for the following reasons. Later on, we see the not monster daughter grow up, but she's like deformed, and at night she lets herself get possessed by the ghost of her dead sister. The movie likes to enjoy its violence, but it all looks terrible. It's cheesy, it has bad CGI, and every scene that tells us that something scary is about to happen ends up not being scary. This movie doesn't know how to actually be scary other than having a little girl with a cheap looking demon face on. Believe it or not, this is not the movie's worst offense. The worst offense is that the first 10 minutes of this story takes place in the present, and a kid gets killed by the demon girl ghost. Then some one blind-eyed, I've seen some shit motherfucker comes in and says, "Gather around while I tell you the story of Sumala." What is this, Goosebumps? Anyways, then he tells the story, and it keeps going, and after an hour, I'm just begging for this guy to wrap it up so we can get back to the present.
But no!
The movie stays in the story up until the last 5 minutes of the flick.
No good. Wow.
The incredible thing about this shit decision is that since this guy is telling the story, you would think he was part of the whole story. Nope. I don't think he ever has a scene where he actually interacts with the main little girl. He is the son of the maid that was nice to the girl. That's it. He wasn't there for any of the major events. I guess you could theorize that his mother told him the rest of the info, but we never see that. So basically we are told the story of pretty much the whole movie by some jabroni that we don't even know. Oh, and they try to sprinkle on top a little bit of, this is based off of a true story to make it seem extra spooky. Yeah, it did nothing for me. For Sale by Exorcist.
I'm a certified exorcist. I find houses, cleanse them, and sell them.
For Sale by Exorcist combines the most common subgenre of horror movies, possession, with the most gut-wrenching, spine-tingling, vomit-inducing profession known to man, real estate. The story is pretty simple. A real estate agent spends her time exorcising ghosts from places and then sells them to people. But she does it so much that she realizes that she doesn't have a home for herself. So the movie is about the real estate agent finding her own home. Consider my mind eviscerated by this level of creativity. So the movie ends on a pretty happy note of her finally getting a place that she can call home, I think. I honestly have a hard time remembering what the fuck actually happened in this flick. And the main reason why this is so forgettable is that it's a dark comedy that tries really hard to be clean funny, meaning it's not very funny at all.
Disappointed!
Yeah, there was a reason there are only like 2 famous stand-up comedians that can do clean comedy, and even they tiptoe towards the line of not family-friendly humor. Family-friendly humor still has to be well made if you want something more than a one-off story to make a few bucks. Yes, there are exceptions, and some of them make billions, but for dark comedies, you gotta be fun dark, which this movie isn't, or you gotta be over-the-top violent funny, which this movie isn't. So I can't really recommend this movie to anyone. Opus. Yeah, this may be a controversial one, but when the fuck did that ever stop me?
Never!
Yeah, the reason why it's on this list is because it reeks of midsummer wannabe moments. The artistic shots, the artistic people, the artistic script. Artistic script. I did a full review on this movie, and feel free to watch it as I tear it a new asshole piece by piece. But in summary, we barely know anything about the characters before they get killed, so who gives a fuck about them? Our main character makes some very stupid decisions, like sneaking around in the middle of the day in all black where she is surrounded by people wearing all blue. The main bad guy's motive for choosing our main characters to be killed is incredibly petty and is answered in a throwaway line at the end of the movie. It's just a not as good version of a much better movie. If you want to know the plot, so the plot is our nobody main character gets invited to this super artistic, like super high level singer, kind of like Taylor Swift, but even more culty. Like, this guy comes out with a new album and he invites 6 very special people onto his property, which is like the cult aspect of it. It's like in the middle of nowhere in Utah. You can make a lot of Mormon jokes about that, but yeah, that's the whole movie. Everybody dies except our main character and the cult leader, and all of his acolytes are spread out in the world. And the main like motive or reason behind all of this is that the artistic guy, that musician, says it was the strong that used to rule the world, then it was the smarts that used to rule the world, but now it's the creatives that are gonna rule the world. Who gives a fuck? Frewaka.
I'm riding, you must be fair.
Damn it, I hate that this one wasn't good. It's an Irish movie about a gal taking care of a crazy old woman in her home for a few days. We get lots of artsy and culturally rich shots and scenes, but as the saying goes, your story is only as good as your villain. This villain is as present as the horror mind's dad.
Careful.
Hope you don't mind me borrowing a joke, buddy. Miss your vids and can't wait to see your next one. Seriously, this movie's main problem is that almost nothing happens throughout the whole movie. It's very boring and very not scary. It's only until the last, 10 minutes of the movie where the leathery hag of the story is vindicated, and I guess fairies are fucking with her. They don't say fairies in the movie, and that leads me to the other problem the villain has: their motive. We don't know anything about them, and since we only see them like once or twice, by the end of the movie I couldn't help but ask myself, does anybody care at this point? And we get a twist that the old goat is actually our girl's grandma, which is something that comes out of nowhere, but it's treated like some sort of atom bomb that was dropped on our main girl's life.
Don't care, don't care, don't care.
Yeah, I felt practically nothing at the end of this movie. Do not recommend. And that's all I got for you. I'm sure there are several shitty movies out there that I missed. It's just cause I only have so much time to waste. But don't worry, I'll make sure I have plenty of time later on this year to make terrible decisions and make part 2's list even longer. And please feel free to write below your shittiest horror movie experiences of the year. Thanks for watching, stay spooky.